Hi, AlphaOmegaRadio.com. This is Luis Moreno, and I'm here with Alex Kiefer, and
hello,
better known as exileFaker. And I've seen you perform so many times live. I want to know a little bit about your musical background. When did you start in music in general?
Right. So, I mean, I think most of my background consists in just listening to a lot of music, throughout my life. But I guess I started writing music when I was a teenager, around maybe 90, 97, 98. Actually, I guess I started out doing sort of remixes, just in using wave editing software, just
really?
cutting things up, moving them around. This was, I didn't really know what was out there, what was available in terms of software to make music at the time. So, that was what I had. So I just sort of took pieces from songs and layered them. And so that was the first stuff I did. I sort of tried to learn guitar around the same time. I still like to play it once in a while. I never got really proficient at that. But so I dabbled with that a bit. But I didn't really get into writing music. I didn't take it very seriously or put a lot of time into it until I discovered the chip.
Really,
chip
that's
scene.
Interesting. I would have never guessed that. I felt that maybe you were in my own thoughts. I thought that you were a musician in a band and stuff like that, and or a guitarist. And it's
no, all that stuff kind of came. I mean, now I'm sort of in a band. I play more guitar, but that all came after.
Oh, that was afterwards.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah. That's great. That's great. I actually want specifically talk about your album. It says online that you worked on it from 2009 to 2011. Tell us how that project came to be.
Right. So most of those tracks actually were written. Most of them were written by early 2010, and it just took that extra year to kind of clean them up and tweak them a bit and get them mastered and such.
And you used the LSDJ for this, right?
So the whole album is LSDJ running on, one of these, obviously.
Right.
And as far as how it came together, it's really just a collection. I mean, I didn't envision it as a 6-track album from the beginning, with those 6 tracks on it. Those are just sort of my favorite chip stuff that I wrote during that period, and I sort of selected the best stuff. I think there is some kind of unity to the music, just because it's all coming from me, from what I'm interested in. But beyond that, it's it sort of came together organically, I guess. And I guess I talked to Josh and Jeremiah from 8-Bit Peoples about it, and they were interested in releasing it. I was like, wow, that's amazing.
Wow. Yeah.
I was very happy. And so it still took me a long time after I sort of after they expressed interest in it to get it together. But and
eventually you were able to do the tracks. How long would you say each track took you to do?
Well, to write the tracks, really, I'd say the longest one took maybe 2 days. Most of them were written in 1 or 2 sessions, just completely. It's strange, with the way music works for me. It's either it works really easily, and it just flows, and it seems like it's just fun, and I like the results, or I labor at it for days and weeks and nothing comes of it, and I just throw the track away. So
wow.
So the ones that are on the album are ones that were pretty they were written pretty quickly, and I wasn't really thinking much about what I was doing. I was just sort of I would start out with some sounds, I'd hear the sounds, if I liked them it would suggest another idea, and that's just, I don't know. So that's how the tracks got written.
Title of the album itself.
Well, so Occam's Chainsaw is just, it's based on the idea of Occam's Razor, which is just, there's a number of ways of putting it. I guess the most popular one is to say, I don't know, simplest explanation is best, or basically it's just the principle of minimalism, right?
Minimalism, yeah.
Which
goes with the limitations that is in this medium of creating music and through LSDJ, for example, which I thought was fascinating. I thought that was a great way to name an album.
Yeah, I guess I don't know if I was conscious of that connection at the time, but I think that's kind of like why I thought it was appropriate.
Cover art,
right?
That's on the album. Can you explain some of that?
That is difficult to explain. Basically, I guess I sort of floated the idea of working with some artists on the cover. I guess nothing really came together concretely, and then I decided I wanted to give it a shot, shot at doing the cover art myself. And I had done a bit of pixel art, like, again, back in the 90s, like, mostly just Final Fantasy, like, fan
art.
Cool.
I was
wow. Like, like, characters from those games. I was really into those as a kid. But so for this art, I don't know. All I can really say about it is it was a similar process to the music in that I wasn't trying to represent anything in particular, didn't really have a preconceived idea of what it would turn out like. So I just, the approach I took was I just kind of started with a pixel at the center of the canvas and just expanded pixel by pixel and just drew the thing, and it took months. It was something I worked on just for a couple hours, like a day for a long period of time.
Well, it looks good. It looks good online. It stands out, and somehow when I listen to your tracks, it kind of fits with the tracks as well.
Oh,
it's
good.
like
I'm glad you think
that. It does.
I think so too. I can't explain why. But
yeah, it just works together somehow. One of the songs that stood out was this cover that you did, Risky Games, I believe?
Risky Gamble. Yeah.
Risky Gamble. Tell us how you ended up choosing to cover this song and how you heard it for the first time.
So that song, that's a song. So, okay, there's a bit of backstory here. So back, like, in my early days on the internet, I used to spend a lot of time on America Online. Specifically in the video games lounge chat room.
Right.
And so I had a bunch of friends that I met through that, like that I'm still friends with now. And we used to trade WAV files. Like that was how we.
Wow.
That's how we listened to music. We would send WAV files, and it took like
It took forever.
4 hours.
The dial-up, you had to leave it overnight. I remember.
Exactly. It was like 1,200. Well, it was more than 1,200 baud, but it was slow. So that was one of the tracks that someone sent me, and so it's like a. It's an anime vocal track, but like a lot of the music I got into back then, I had never seen the anime that it was from.
Yeah.
I just like the song, and so it's a song I've loved since I was a teenager. So, and I thought I was listening to it one day, and I just imagined the bass line sort of in, chip form as a square wave or whatever, and I was like, oh, this would sound really good. So.